Hello, I'm Carl.G.N and you're watching Man v Fat Man, and as you may have guessed today's theme, it is game day. So, one of the best questions I've been asked in the last week is, what do you do to prepare for your Man v Fat session? What I'm going to do is just give you a quick rundown of my routine from morning to evening till it's all done and dusted and I'm getting excited about next week. My day starts off at the gym around 8 o'clock in the morning just for a light cardio session on an elliptical. Nothing strenuous because I know my Man v Fat session is going to be high intensity in the evening, so I don't want to tire myself out. And then I'll go to the steam room and relax in there for 10 or 15 minutes, as long as I can last. And then I feel nice and prepared physically for the evening weighing session. So in terms of nutrition during the day, I don't eat a great deal because I go home to sleep. I work nights, so after the gym, I just go home. I might have a light snack. Then I'll sleep for a few hours, and then when I wake up I will have a meal because I need that energy for my Man v Fat session. I always make sure that I prepare my bag a few hours before I actually leave. The first thing I prepare is my booklet. Now I always make sure that that is packed away because it's important that we pack these. Tracking matters, it earns your team a goal. The more of you that do it, the more goals you get. I also like to print off my food intake instead of writing it down, just because it's easier to read. And my poor coach Al, he probably couldn't read my handwriting because it's like that of a 2-year-old, although that's a bit insulting to a 2-year-old, but you get the point. So next up is boots. Now you definitely can't play without these, so get them in your bag. I always make sure these are second in my bag because they're an essential piece of kit. I'm hoping Deodora are watching because, you know, I'm about to rate these boots very highly. If you've got big, fat, wide frog feet like me, these are the boots for you. I have never enjoyed playing football so much as I have in these boots. So next up on the list is shin pads. Now, these aren't your regular shin pads, but I absolutely love them. They're called G-Form. They're just as effective as your regular shin pads, except they're a bit more flexible, so they don't dig into your ankles or anything, and they've really benefited me because I'm somebody that runs quite fast, and usually the top of shin pads would dig into just below my knee and the bottom would dig into just on my ankle. So I highly recommend these, especially for you guys with bigger calves like me. Next up is socks. Now I always pack these with my shinnies. These are brilliant, these are grip socks, and I never bothered much with things like this before, but these have actually helped me improve my game as well because my feet used to slide in boots, and now they're just stable all the time. So I used to be a bit nervous and anticipate injury when I was running, and now I'm able to just run freely with no concern. So the final piece, the most important piece, is my B&M shirt, my orange shirt for Into My Belly. This has got a lot of attention of recent, and understandably, because it is a sexy shirt. Even if it does look like a B&M carrier bag, I absolutely love it. And you know, you can't play the game without your team colours, and I think this is a beautiful retro looking shirt. I always recommend that you get a shirt that you feel comfortable in. I used to just play in any colour, like any shirt that matched my team's colours, but now that I'm playing in a shirt that I actually feel comfortable in, I don't know, I just feel better personally. So my advice would be wear something that you actually feel comfortable in and not just for the sake of it being the right colour. Next on the list, water. I always make sure I put this in the freezer for a few hours first. I like it nice and cold. You need water with you guys. You need to hydrate before the game, after the game, between the game, as much as you can, because water is, you don't want to be dehydrated. It's not a nice thing to be, and it can be detrimental to your game, it can be detrimental to your health. So this isn't even a recommendation, this is a demand. Drink more water. Things to consider: electrical tape. Yeah, I'm a bit old school. I like to tie my boots up. Just makes it feel a bit tighter, a bit snugger, and you know, it helps with, again, feeling secure. Next up is a football. Now, obviously, the full team don't need to bring a football, but it's always good to assign one player or two players to just bring a ball on game day so you can warm up with it and do your dynamic stretching and get really prepared for the game. Next up is a spare t-shirt. I always carry a spare t-shirt with me just in case I get a little bit too sweaty on the pitch, because you guys run me ragged and I definitely look like I've been through it after the games, so always bring a spare t-shirt for me. Every now and again I also like to buy my team a Powerade each. It's nothing to do with the actual drink itself, although I do like to have a Powerade on game day. I just think it brings a bit of unity in the team and it raises morale, especially when you've been a struggling team. We all stand, have a drink, watch another game, prepare for our game, and we like to talk about our weight loss. And I think, you know, stood together having a drink of Powerade like we're at a bar, I think it's a really good boost to a team. I also like to bring a protein shake for when I've got a late kick-off, like the 8:30 kick-off, because I won't get home while about 9:30, 9:45. I do this because I don't like to eat too late before going to bed, and I don't like it to settle on my stomach too heavy. I know a lot of guys like to have their treat meal after a game, and I'm not going to call it a cheat meal because I don't believe in that term and I don't like that mindset. I'll talk about that in another video. I used to do it myself, but I've stopped that pattern of behaviour because I don't want to reward myself for the session and for it losing any weight. People have different opinions on that, and that's fine. That's just me personally. What I would say is those high calorie dense meals that you consume after a game, maybe just implement little bits of them meals during the week. You don't have to restrict yourself completely, but again, I'll talk about that in another video. So in terms of getting there on time and things, I try and get there fairly early. I like to talk to the coach, Al, and you know, I just have a chat with him, and I like to talk to the facilitator, Dave Bell. I also try and talk to all the other team players and my own team because, you know, we're one big community. And then I have a really good chat with my teammates about their weight loss, and then we start talking about the game. And you know, you have to warm up for the game because you can't go into it cold. So I recommend that you get there nice and early. After the game, I sometimes stay and watch, have a chat with other players still, unless it's the last game. Highly recommend that you stretch off so you haven't got any lactic acid still in your muscles and don't cramp up the next day and feel so sore. After a game, I'll either go on for my tea or have my shake and then go on to bed, relax and start the week again. And that is the conclusion of my exciting day at a Man v Fat session. I hope any of my tips helped. I highly recommend that you go into each session prepared, ready to play, ready to weigh, ready to lose and ready to win. Good luck guys, have a good one.